Yes, people, live on Never a Foul. I apologize for being late. It's all my fault. Yeah, clearly. You can make that decision for yourself. But if you are here, big up yourselves. Obviously, Spurs versus Chelsea. Couldn't get anybody else but, of course, Younes to talk with Mr. Davey himself. First time on a channel. People might know him as the Irish Hotspur or Davey or the Irish, whatever. We got to talk about his claim for the title race as well. That ain't going unchallenged whatsoever. But also some other interesting news about Chelsea that Younes just told me about, which I thought was interesting. Make up your own mind, Chelsea fans. But anyone that's in here, make sure you smash a like and big up the lads that are actually joining here on time. Guni will be here literally very, very soon. I decided since he was late. Oh, he's here. He's backstage. Oh, he's actually here. Big up Guni. He's not late. He was on another channel, but because you know what? I changed the overlay, yeah? I changed the overlay and I thought, you know what? Since these men want to be late, yeah, I'm gonna change it to Younes as a you know, like the back, you know, the circle thing that's on StreamYard when someone leaves. I was like, you might he's here for two people, clearly. But no, Gooni's in here. Sean might be here. I'm not too sure yet. But big up my man. Obviously, Goonie should be with us. 3, 2, 1 might pop through. But yeah, man, how we all doing today, Mr. Davey? First time.
Yeah, flying form. Thanks for having me. I mean, it's an early feast. You know, before the game to be able to have some Chelsea fans on with me should be fun, my man. Thanks very much for having me.
Nah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Always hearing good things about yourself and always seeing you on a timeline as well. Younes, how we doing today? Mm. Yeah, and obviously can't think of nobody else but the man knows football. You got the talks football in Younes, and you got the man that knows football in Goonie. Good pairing, if I'd say, you know. And obviously he's just on
Yes,
Lee's channel, so
people.
big up Lee if he's actually you know, if he's actually watching as well. That was interesting little topic there, Goonie, man.
Yeah, man. You just what were you talking about? Lee Gunner's channel. You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
cut
yeah.
out there for a second.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, man. We was just talking. Well, Lee was having fun listening to my Chelsea struggles at the minute, bruv. Do you know what I mean? I've got nothing to be positive about at the minute. If we're keeping it 100% real, you get me. But listen, sorry to the people them for my lateness. You get me. I've got to show my respect and give you a lot my apologies. My bad.
100 views in here. So smash the like button as you just leave a little widget run past. I've got a bone to pick in a sec with my man Davey. Honestly, how do you actually sum up Spurs season this year? Because I don't, all I can think of it for myself, if I was to support Spurs, which would be absolutely sickening, I think of my emotions will be all over the place.
Look, first of all, I think there's probably a Spurs fan in you. We can make one of you yet. But look, it's been frustrating. It's been really frustrating this year being a Tottenham fan. I'll be honest, I'm starting to get sick of being up here one week, down here the next
Yeah,
week.
that's what I'm on about. That's
Um,
exactly, yeah.
it's just really frustrating. We can't seem to get any sort of real run of form together, you know, where we're playing well, this, that, and the other. The football hasn't really been too exciting this season either. Look, that's down to a number of things. That's down to we've had a lot of injuries before the World Cup, some since the World Cup. You know, there's arguments going on in the fan base right now, sort of, you know, Antonio Conte's tactics. Me personally, I know Sean's in the background there. He's one that.
Oh, he's ill, right? He's
He, he doesn't enjoy the tactics, but me personally, I understand why we play the defensive way we do when we've got the back line we do. We concede some of the most goals in this league. I think we're like, you know, in the top 5 of goals conceded. But we, you know, we score some of the most in this league. So defense is a real issue this season. But do you know what? Saying all that, we're still in it. We're still fighting. Still in the last 16 of the Champions League. We're still in the FA Cup. And we're still inside the top 4 race. So despite all of that, we're still fighting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I welcome Sean. Obviously, is always my favorite Spurs fan. Sorry, Davey, you might have to go number 2. But big up for joining as well.
Sorry, I'm like,
yeah. That's what I was
Apologies.
thinking. That's what I was waiting for. No, I'm joking. But yeah, man, a Goonie, man. Chelsea season. Of course, you're just talking about Lee Gunner's show and everything and the way it's going. And you even said to me, I think 2 months ago now, you're just gonna be patient with it. You know, it is what it is. You're just gonna wait. Times will get better.
Well, my tune has changed, my bro. yeah, because there's certain things that are just not acceptable. Because one thing that I did not foresee was Chelsea losing to a 20th place managerless Southampton with only one player in the squad that can get anywhere near this Chelsea team. But here we are. It happened. So this is what I mean. I can't trust nothing beyond that. I think the manager should be gone. Do you know what I mean? But who's going to come in immediately to steady the ship is another question. Well, so it is what it is. You get me?
There's always that talk, Younes, but I'm hearing as well with Graham Potter, like it will cost him they'll cost Todd B at least 60 million actually for him and his staff, something around that figure. Correct me if I'm wrong. If they did want to replace him.
Well, yeah, we all thought that. So I was scared of that. Guni's been scared of that. We've all been scared of that. But apparently, right, there is some sort of termination clause. Now, what the clause is, we don't know, but it's nice to know there is some sort of clause there. So we're not tied financially, just having to keep him because of how much he'd get a payout and him and his staff. So in that aspect, cool. But yeah, it's mental when you think about it. 12 million a year, 5-year contract. You know, I just think it's maybe naive from the get-go, from the new owners. Maybe they thought it would be wise to do something like that here. Maybe it works in the States, over in the MLB and whatnot, but here you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. So maybe they found out the hard way. We'll just see what happens, because Guni's got a point in terms of trying to change right now. I personally want us to change right now, but it's true. How do you move forward for the rest of the season? I reckon it wouldn't hurt going with an interim up until the end. It'll be better than what we have now. But from the new owner's perspective, yeah, who you going to get right now to come in? It's a hard one. So
yeah, I agree. Before I do it, come on to you, Sean. Pause. Because I wanted to touch a little bit about Stellini, and he kind of interests me the way he wants to play slightly, like he's not targeting the way stuff around Conte and whatnot. You know, you go Leicester, Conte, whatever, lose, yeah, and then the next game you look.
Don't remind me.
You look just that little bit better. Just even though you lost in Milan and everything, it's like Stellini's back. You're probably going to see some sort of results. But let me go through a couple of the comments. And my bad as well. I'm trying to get the comments up, but it decides that, well, my OBS decides that it doesn't want to show. So my bad. Apologies for that. So I'll try to get that fixed. Big up Elias and Daniel all the time. Two of our mods. Big up True Blue Clay. He says, almost didn't hit that like button after seeing Mount's face. That's your main guy, bro. Like, that's your main guy. Don't give me that stuff. Footy Judge Mo in the build. Footy Judge. So it's gone from Moman to Mo to Judge Mo to Footy Mo. Got that, Mo. Big up Hurad. Big up Mo G's. Big up TJ. Says, big up the panel. Chelsea are going to snap out of it against Spurs. Big claims. Mo Zidani says, unit mic is very quiet. I think it's fixed now. That might be my fault. No, it is my fault. Arteka says, can't hear Younes. Oh, we get it, man. Get off my back. Jamino says, big up, lads. Can't stay here long. I've hit the like button. If guys, you ain't hit the like, make sure you hit the like. 150 of views. And also, all these guys' channels in the description below and in the title. So if you do fancy any of them, physically or mentally, you know where to hit and go subscribe. Big up Lewis, Mustafa. Jack. If there's a mod, please ban Jack. I ain't trying to have that guy up in this shit. Get him out. DWT says, hello. And then obviously KSA man says, as a Chelsea fan, it's a must win. If not, sack Poor immediately. No, Jack. Don't say big up Cass when you're trying to comment terrace and start talking to madness in the comments like I don't see it. Like, you can't do 1 and 2. I think you can come on my channel, right? And and then you can do all this nice pottery stuff, you know, glitter and all that. Go on terrace, you get silly big bollocks, and you want to start trying to cuss man personally and all that. Get the fuck out of here, man. Anyways, sorry about that, guys. I thought I'd lay the law. But Sean, Stellini, yes. Man. Stellini or Conte?
Yeah.
Where's the feeling at the moment?
Oh, look, I think there's a lot of people that obviously are sick and tired of Conte's tactics. Conte ball is fossil football. I don't think that me personally, I don't think there is a team in the Premier League that plays more boring football for at least 50 minutes of every game than we do when we've got Conte. We get the results occasionally. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It's too flip-floppy for me. I wouldn't even tolerate it if it was successful football all the time. because I watch football to be entertained and to enjoy it rather than just to be like priorities. And number one isn't necessarily always to win for me, if that's the sacrifice. Stellini ball does look a little bit better, but I don't think it's necessarily anything different. Like I think that some people that feel like me that are Conte out are probably putting their like rose tinted spectacles on the Stellini version of football that we see and think that it's like significantly different and think that it's Stellini's style. Maybe like Conte still picks the team. I heard that Stellini gets the ability to make the decisions on the substitutions during the game when Conte isn't there. And look, maybe the only argument that you could really put forward for Stellini to have like the positive impact that it kind of looks like he's having is because he probably doesn't micromanage or manage the players from the sideline. Sometimes when Conte's up for it, recently when he's been there, he's obviously been sick, so he's looked a little bit pale and quiet. But when he is up for it, he's very kind of dictatorial from the sidelines. He's always screaming and shouting and pointing at people. And I don't know how I would feel if I was a football player being constantly, narrated to from your manager on the side where to be. Where at some point you have to be trusted to do your job. So I think that's the only real difference is that Stellini probably lets them play a little bit more. But in terms of like the formation, the style, the tactics, the team, all that stuff, I think that basically Conte still got his finger over that kind of trigger, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%, man. I can't help but agree with that statement. I'm not even a Tottenham fan. Damn, talk to me more, Sean. Pause. I'm gonna flip the side though. Obviously, talking on managers, Younes, about Graham Potter. I don't actually know your feelings towards this guy. I see a comment about saying along the sides of Conte ball is like Potter ball, but I disagree. It's just what are your actual feelings with Potter and the way things are at the moment?
Oh, personally, just like Guni reiterated earlier on, he's out of his depth. He's got to go.
Oh shit! So he's got to go.
Yeah, he's got to go. And I've been doubtful for quite some time about Graham Potter, and it's hit a point where now you're seeing a lot of people shift because that result against Southampton was just unacceptable. So now it's a realization that even if he stays until the end of the season, there's a massive realization now that you just know he's not an elite manager. He probably will never be, or at least he won't be at this club, or when we need it now.
Yeah. Not
necessarily as in we need to win every single game now, but there needs to be some sort of an improvement, which there isn't. There's no sign of anything. So personally, I'd have him gone. And I've been saying that for a little while, and each game that comes in, it's just the same thing over and over again now. It's nonstop. Does it end? Does it get better?
Does it end, Robbie? When does it end, Robbie?
This is the thing. Because if we look to the Spurs game now, a lot of people are looking to that as the game where it decides everything.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't think it does. For me, the writing's already on the wall. But a lot of people are going, okay, if we lose against Spurs, that's it. It's over. But if we beat Spurs, it's maybe a chance of redemption. Maybe we change things. Maybe it shifts.
It's not 100%.
Dr. Tottenham.
Not for me.
Makes everything better.
Hey, Dr. Potter maybe, but
I hear you. For me, he's not elite, and it's just for me, it's not working.
Yeah, I agree. Right now, it's not. It's like how much money and how much time does this man need to get things going at the moment? And I'm gonna flip the script before I come to Guni and everything. Let me come to Davey then, because I was on a terrace Monday, and someone said that Graham Potter is Tottenham levels, not Chelsea levels. He was Tottenham levels. Well, I'm going to put some respect on it. I was someone that would have taken Graham Potter at United in the summer as well. I would be like, yeah, I'm having him. Maybe the job's too big for him. Maybe it's a size of somewhere like Tottenham might even yet still be too big for him, to be fair. If you can pull someone like Conte. But how do you feel on Graham Potter? Would you personally, if you was a Chelsea fan, would you give him time? If it was a situation at your club, would you give him time?
As a Spurs fan, I want Chelsea to give Potter a lot more time. 100%. Going down to what's an 8-year contract tradition now. Don't be selfish. Give one Potter's way. But look, I'll be honest. I was one of these when he was linked with Tottenham before all this a while back before Antonio Conte. I didn't want him. And at the end of the day, the guy also came out and said he's basically too good for Tottenham at the end of the day. Look, everyone was telling him, you're a wizard, Harry, you're a wizard, Potter, you're this, you're that. I said it at the time. This is a guy that came from Sweden. The English game didn't even want him. You're in the Premier League at a time where there's you've got the likes of Lopetegui at Wolves, you've got Emery at Aston Villa, you've got top managers from other leagues coming and taking some of the smaller teams in the Premier League. And that's because the Premier League is where it's at. So everyone is destined to have English managers in there. So they all bigged up Harry Potter thinking he's this magician. I said, he was saying at the time, oh, well, if you just had a good striker, they'd be able to score goals. So it's like, look at him out. Look at the amount of strikers he's had. They've never been able to score goals. Perfect. And then when you look what's happening at Chelsea, it's the same problem. Great chances, no one's scoring. And for me, I think this Potter ball is a myth. Look at him. He thinks he's made it. He's got a stylist now. He looks completely different to when he did at Bournemouth. At the end of the day, he hasn't been helped with, the amount of players that these have brought in. But if you're Graham Potter, or if you're them Chelsea players in the Chelsea dressing room, you're looking at Potter. If he tells you to start doing more running than what you've ever done before in your life, straight away you're just going to say, put your trophies on the table. Don't tell me how to do this. They have no respect for him, and he has to come in and sort of earn that respect. The only way it will work out with Potter is if at the end of the season they continue to get rid of the likes of Ziyech and people like that, people who have actually won stuff, because they don't respect them, and letting go with the likes of Fofana, who played at the weekend and stuff like that. But I'll be honest, this weekend he's going to be out of a job. Come on, bring it on.
Oh, shit. You're saying he's going to be gone by literally...
Oh, man, it's unforgivable to lose to Tottenham, surely. As a Chelsea fan, it's got to be. It's absolutely unforgivable,
It's
man.
unforgivable to lose to Southampton.
Yeah, I was going to say this, Guni. There's a reason why I saved you till last. I was going to work my way around the room, innit? By the way, guys, there's over 200 of you in here. Please smash the like button and please have a check of these guys. Guni, man knows football. You can see it in his box. Or even Irish Hotspur, Davey, you can see it in his box. Sean, obviously, I think he's over 5K now, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah.
It's growing massively. I remember we was talking about 3K and then on to 4K, and then look where it is now. So everyone's growing. And Younes, yeah, don't brag. Smash the like button if you haven't, guys. It takes 2 seconds of your time, and it's everyone's giving up their time to give you this brilliant content. But Guni, man, when a Spurs fan is saying, please keep him in, is that the icing on the cake where it's like, nah, and you just said yourself, Southampton, that is just unforgivable. They've actually, I'll give you an interesting stat, Guni. Southampton have 18 points this season. 6 of them came from you.
Yeah, I know. This is what I'm saying. The champagne went flat back then, so I'm not surprised at everyone's reaction. Really, bro, listen, people don't understand. That was the one game where there was no negotiables for me, none whatsoever. Yeah. I don't care what team you put out there. I wanted nothing less than 3 points. And even during the game, I was saying things like, because people was criticizing the manager, I was saying, as long as there's minutes left on the clock, there's still time to get a goal. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, but it better not stay like this. So that's what I mean. I lost faith in this guy. He should have been sacked from Southampton. Should he be in charge against Tottenham? In my honest opinion, no. Should he? He shouldn't be in charge for Dortmund either. Definitely not.
Oh, so all right, let me give you another question then. So if you was to get rid of him right now, who's your? Give me 2 managers. I think the easy one is gonna be what's his name, Luis Enrique, right?
Nope.
Oh, all right, give me 2 because I've got one name in my head which I think would be a great shout for you guys.
Well, look, before I even answer that, I'm accepting the fact that this guy potentially could be here for the long term, for the fact that a replacement is not readily available.
Yeah.
Again, my first choice would have
Conte
been
in the summer, right? He'll be available.
My first choice would have
He'd probably do well. He'd probably do well in that squad.
He did very well. He did really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
My first choice would have been Flick. Outside of that, honestly, Cass, outside of that, I haven't thought about it because even when Tuchel went and people asked me, I said Hansi Flick was my first choice. And that's what I love about YouTube is that these things are documented. I said, if Tuchel goes, we should try and find a way to bring in that Hansi Flick guy. So I haven't seen really beyond him anybody else that makes me feel like, yeah, that's the guy. Because you see, once I'm stuck on one manager, I don't really look outside anywhere else.
Me and Ten Hag in the summer. Go on.
Just quickly, I've got a suggestion from Andrew. What about Big Sam? Chelsea are close to the relegation zone, and they are.
Bro, we missed out on Sean Dyche.
Yeah,
Yeah, we missed out on Sean Dyche, bro. Flipping
I mean,
hell.
at least he can be
The
Arsenal,
other one.
right?
You say that again?
At least he can be Arsenal, right?
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip the same question to you then, Sean. Obviously there's questions over Conte in the summer. I think you made it quite vocal about him in recent times as well. On Never a Foul, let alone your own channel. I do tune in for when you do your walks with your dog.
Yeah.
But you want Conte to go pretty much. Like I think he might have severed that kind of relationship. Oh, you're on the fence at the very least. Who would you bring?
Yeah,
I don't care. Who would you bring on for Tottenham? Because I've said 2 names for Tottenham who I think would suit them very well, and they will change the style of football. You could go where I think is maybe a bit more of a risk, which I think De Zerbi might be given a great chance, or Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon, who I think he has the credentials now. He's won the league there. He plays good attacking football. You've come up against him this season alone in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I think he warrants some sort of chance.
Yeah, look, he's a good manager. I like him. He plays the same formation as we currently do, right? So he plays a 3-4-3, which would make it easier. The problem for me with changing and dropping Conte for whoever the next managerial cab off the rank is, and a lot of people were talking about Pochettino. I know there was rumours this week that Pochettino turned down Chelsea in like an initial conversation or whatever. And I don't know if there's any truth to that, but if there is, he probably thinks that there's half a chance that the Tottenham job will be available. For me, the problem is that if you pivot from someone who plays a back 3 to someone who plays a back 2 or back 4, whatever you want to call it, there's massive differences to me between a right wing back and a full back, to between a guy who plays in the middle of a back 3 in the defence and someone who plays on the left or the right of a back 4. And I think that they're square pegs in round holes, and it's another problem with Tottenham's managerial kind of flip-flopping over the years, where you sign players on 5-6 year contracts and the average tenure of a Tottenham manager is 18 months.
Yeah.
And so that's a problem that the next manager is going to have to figure out. So whilst everyone wants it to be Pochettino, or a lot of people want it to be Pochettino, I don't want Pochettino back yet. I would rather it be somebody else who goes through that process of figuring out the square pegs in round holes. And then I want Tottenham as a club to stick to a philosophy where from then on, you commit to the same formation. Sorry, you commit to the same philosophy in football, front foot, attacking, entertaining, attractive football. And ideally a manager, like a system of managers that plays the same 4-3-3 or something like that, so that you can over time transition the players in that all fit that same philosophy. And then whenever the next manager comes in, the one after that, they already have most of the tools available to input straight into their system. For me, I don't want Poch right now. I think I'd like him the manager after the next manager.
Yeah.
In terms of who I would want, like Amorim probably, like I say, would probably do a better job with the squad that we have than pivoting to a 4. But for me, I personally like Thomas Frank. I like the manager at Fulham, and I like the manager at Brighton as well. But I'd imagine that Brighton would ask for a significant lump of compensation, like to lose their manager twice in the same season. I'm sure that guy's probably on like 4 or 5 million a year on a 3 or 4 year contract. I don't know how, I don't know if that's true or not.
But don't you think, even for yourself, David, just join in, don't you think like you would learn from mistakes potentially? Like Fulham, they're doing a great job now, and Thomas Frank might be doing a great job now, but I think, are we not learning some sort of ways that Graham Potter can't handle the size of Chelsea? I'm not saying Tottenham is Chelsea, but Tottenham's, dare I say, I hate to say it as a Man United fan, you're not exactly a small club anymore. You're extremely small club. So, no, I'm joking. Don't you think it might be a bit too big, the job that's on hand? Because we're talking about Tottenham who needs to be built up again. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it needs to be built. It's like a project. It's not, and in a way, you kind of need results now, like depending on how the season ends.
I think. Look, when you look at Tottenham's past, traditionally Martin Jol was Santini's assistant. Harry Redknapp done well at Tottenham. Pochettino came from Southampton, done well at Tottenham. I think traditionally we've sort of done well with the underdog sort of manager. But look, where we're at Tottenham right now, for me, like the whole reason of building the stadium, being in the Champions League, having a training complex, having some world-class players in the team is to have the best of the best managers around in your dugout. And this is a part of the problem at Tottenham over the last, since the Champions League final. We just keep changing direction, hire and fire managers. And our squad resembles that, And look, I know Sean doesn't agree, but, our backline is a huge problem. We've got Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, people that have been at this club 7-8 years that keep making the same mistakes every single season. And they're costly, and no manager has been able to sort of stamp their authority on it because the backline's not strong. It's like same Jose, Nuno, now Conte keeps letting these managers down. So I'll be honest, I don't think any manager is really going to succeed here until that backline is sort of sorted out and it doesn't become a major issue, because it goes down to what your great manager said, Sir Alex Ferguson. Defence wins your leagues, attacks wins your titles, but we've got a Ferrari at the front, but we've got a Nissan Micra at the back, and no matter what our front players do, the best one to do it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, look, Conte is the best man to take us forward. Where I'm at personally, I would prefer to keep Conte. I think we've gone so far underneath him. I think if you resolve the back line and that number one keeper issue over the summer, I think you're in a position next season to give it a real good shot, a real good
with
goal.
horrible football though, Dave. Does the style of football not matter to you?
Sean, of course it matters to me, but when you got Hugo Lloris, who's not a modern day keeper and can't distribute with his feet, it has an effect on how you play out from the back. If you've got centre backs and defenders who can't pass the ball out consistently from the back, it affects your style of play. It's all well and good sitting there talking about style of play, but you also got to have the players to do it. So if the next manager comes in, he's not going to all of a sudden get Eric Dyer to turn into a ball-playing defender. He's not going to get Ben Davies to turn into a ball-playing defender. No manager's been able to do it previous. Not even Pochettino did it. They were always on the periphery of his team. And in order to play this nice, attractive football, you've got to have players to do it, like we had when we had Toby and Jan. Until we get back there, you're not going to see a better style of football. And I'd argue it would look better if we had them players.
But there is going to be, you hope, in the summer, the priority will be at least one centre back and a goalkeeper. Right, they're the two areas, maybe two centre backs. And if you get them, then you will be able to play football. But I'd rather give those players, give those final pieces of the jigsaw to a manager that at least has the appetite to play.
When a new manager
take a little bit more risk.
It's not really going to be the final pieces of the jigsaw, though, is it? Because you're sort of restarting all over again. So if a new manager comes in and, he's going to want to bring in a player from where he was at previous and know his style, so that it'll help him influence, get his ideas across to maybe players a lot quicker. And then also he's going to have key positions that he's looking at where like, okay, yeah, I know I need a backline number one, but I also need a player here and there. So it's not necessarily just giving them the last pieces of the puzzle, because they're going to have different ideas.
Let me just quick super chat from Alhambra. He says the last time we lost to Spurs, Macklemore was relevant, but shout out to Conte's gallbladder for securing top 4 to Spuds. Gallbladder, is that something that happened with, is that his illness or something like that?
Yeah.
At the moment. Big up for that super chat. I've got some interesting stuff.
Good super chat.
So interestingly, it says here, even on the Chelsea website, it says the Blues are aiming to win 4 consecutive away league matches at Tottenham for the first time in our history. Tottenham's last league victory against us was at Wembley in November 2018, where they won 3-1. We have a 100% record at their new stadium. Spurs have conceded more Premier League goals against Chelsea, 110, than they have against any other opponent, which is quite... It's quite a mad stat.
It's the worst. It's a terrible record.
So,
we've got an absolutely
Younes,
shocking
even
record
with that,
Chelsea.
records are always meant to get broken. But when it comes to this match, does this make you think there's got to be something within this Chelsea team to at least not lose against a team that you have a great record against?
This is the thing. I truly believe, do we have the squad? Do we have the players to get a job done? 100%. 100%. Do we have a way that's being portrayed to the players to get that job done right now? Do we have the confidence? Do we have momentum? Do we have anything? No. So normally I'd come into this fixture, and the only hope that we've got right now, I think Guni can give his opinion as well, but the only way that Chelsea, I think, get a result is if Spurs just turn Spursy and just, one of those mad mistakes that costs them the game, gets us 3 points or gets us a point or something. But right now, in terms of Chelsea going and doing it themselves, I'd like to think, we've absolutely got the team to do it, but we just won't. And that's down to all sorts of factors. The confidence is low. Players look lost. Is there a style of play? Are we looking to move the ball in a certain way, in a certain pattern? We don't know. We still haven't figured it out. Potter doesn't look like he's got any sort of control on the team, any sort of authority, any sort of command, any instruction. It just looks bland. The whole thing looks bland. So this is a derby, and anything can happen in a derby. And I'd like to think that the players should be up for it. But the one thing that before tactics and before instruction and before patterns and before styles of play and all of that is mentality, attitude, and being up for it. And you can't be more up for anything than a derby. But when you look at the body language of the players and the way that we move, not just at the games, but in training and anything that you see, the warm-up, we saw the warm-up pre-Southampton, that was embarrassing. Aspie was the only one trying to get everyone amped up to go out for the warm-up, and everyone's walking out like they've just walked out of a supermarket.
That was hilarious.
It's crazy, but that's the thing. The body language is so off, and we don't want to see that against Spurs. That's the one game where you should automatically just be up for it. No matter what, you should be up for that. So that could be the deciding factor. And
do you think
it's not looking good.
Sorry, mate. Do you think all those new players from different, like, Mudryk coming in, he hasn't been involved in too many London derbies. Do you think it means like there's too many new?
Let's get this right. His name's Midrick now, aka the Ukrainian Britney Spears. So thank you.
All right, the Ukrainian Britney Spears et al. All these new players that have come in. Do you think that they like the London derby thing matters to them as much as it does to players that have been around a little bit longer and got that kind of that taste for it in previous years?
I don't necessarily think that'll be the case. I think they'll understand exactly just what it means. I think it's going to be their first time. So I think if anything, they want to prove a point. Those lads will want to come and show that, okay, no, we know that we've come to a club where this game means something. So, okay, we got to perform today. Whereas everyone else that already knows what it normally means should automatically be up for it. But it's those players that are completely off form. If anything, it's the players, bar Mudryk, I would say right now, because I mean, the one excuse Mudryk has is that he didn't play since November, and then he arrived and he's only had the games he's played for us at the moment. So, is he adapting? We'll wait and see. But Felix, Enzo, all of these guys that have come in, right now, even though the whole team are playing bad, they're the ones that have actually been playing. They've done at least something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So we're looking to them to actually make the difference. Not even the guys that have already been at Chelsea that are meant to understand it. But we'll see how they react.
What about Madueke? Yeah, the former Spurs boy. He's there. Right?
No, correction. Midway K now. It's Midway K.
Sorry, Midway K. How dare I?
Yeah, how dare you? Yeah. The three mids to tiers. You got Midson Mount, Midrick, and Midway K. They are mid-table right now, so they deserve that title.
Yeah, nice.
We're gonna have to start calling them by their shirt numbers instead of their names, because this
Sunday ball number 11. Watch. What was you saying?
But Madueke, look, personally, I like what I've seen from him so far, and I don't expect the world from him because he's young, came from PSV. I mean, even though he's born and bred London and whatnot, but I like about him is that he's direct, he's forward thinking. The one problem we've had at Chelsea is the amount of times we go sideways and we go backwards just for the fun. You know, the amount of times we end up passing the ball back when there's so many options forward is embarrassing. Madueke, you see, gets the ball first thing, looks forward, runs into a risk, and I love it. Like, you just have to do that sometimes. He's dynamic, good dribbler, but again, not expecting the world from him because, you know, he's 21 and he's got time. So, yeah, so far I'm happy with him.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, man. Midway K has got a little side about him, Guni. There is a little something. But other than that, as Younes was saying, the players that have been here before should automatically know what this means to the fans. You had Johnny Mineral screaming to the point where Reece James turned back and says, "Who's this fucker?" You know what I mean? Like, who's talking? But with Johnny, you have to back up what Johnny has to say. It's passion that's coming out, man. It means a lot. And if I'm gonna say to the subject, Mason Mount, is this the time where he should look at himself and his career if he wants to be a part of Chelsea and be like, this is how you get the fans back on board? Because there's a massive split between wanting him and not wanting him. I don't want to single just him out, but the only reason why I do is because he is the Chelsea boy and the main lad out of all the Chelsea lads that come from Cobham.
I think he wants out of the club personally. And I think he'll be sold in the summer. That's where I'm at with Mason Mount. And I can't blame him.
Yeah.
His entire development has been it's been destroyed by Chelsea Football Club, not giving him a focal point position in the team and allowing him to grow there, using him here, there, and everywhere. It's just come to a point where this stagnation has turned into regression, and it's been like this for nearly a year now. So for me, I can't really expect much of Mason Mount. But then when I look at individuals in this squad and what we're going through, I can't expect much from anybody, because there's not been a single standout performer on a consistent basis outside of Reece James, who was the one that was bailing us out a lot of the time, whether it was a goal or whether it was goal contribution. As soon as Reece James is out of that squad, it looks like a completely different team. So look, unfortunate for Mason Mount, but I'm at the standpoint where if he doesn't want to get his contract situation sorted out, we're not in a position where we can afford to keep any passengers dilly-dallying. We've either got to sort it or move on
as a club, basically.
Yeah, we've either got to sort it or move on. Do what's best for the club. No time for loyalty tax out here.
You know what? I like how you say that, because I can flip this back to even Dave, you're Sean, Kane in his contract situation. Does he stay? Does he go? He's done everything he can do at the moment with Spurs. He obviously beat the record. Big up him. And also, you might win an FA Cup. Like, it never say never, right? FA Cup magic might sprinkle a little bit or a lot of it for Tottenham to win this trophy finally after about 15 years. So, what's your situation with Kane? Like, do you really want him to stay, or would you say it's time to move on as a club as well, if that's the case? And if so, how much is acceptable for you guys?
Go on, Dave.
First, yeah, you can go first, Sean. I'll go after.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what Dave's going to say, so I'll take the opposite side of it. I think that, look, at some point you have to shake hands with reality and say there's going to be a time when he's not going to play for Tottenham Hotspur anymore. There's going to be a time when he'll have scored his last goal for Tottenham, whether it's this summer, like in a few months, or whether it's in a few years. At some point, Tottenham fans are going to have to get on board with that. And I don't know whether or not his future is directly correlated or tied to what happens with Antonio Conte. I definitely think the next manager in would be a big factor in it. If it's someone like Pochettino, maybe Kane hangs around. If it's someone like an Amorim, I'm not sure he does. But for me, like, the right number would be if you could get
totally fair. Come on now.
Yeah, look, I think that if there's a risk that he's going to, like, I don't want a situation where he's going to run down his contract and go out for free. That would be like a dagger in the heart. So if there's any, I think you'd hope that Harry Kane can be like truthful enough with the club and say, look, if you don't sell me this summer, I want out, or I want to stay. Like, one way or the other. Don't leave that whole kind of Sol Campbell thing up in the air where he, we just don't know, and all of a sudden he moves on to Man United or whatever else. For me, if he does say to the club, look, he wants to go and try himself somewhere else, and someone was to come in and pay 85 million quid, 80 million quid, something like that, then I think you probably accept it. Anything above there, anything like if all you can get is 50 million for him, then that's a real tough one. If he's made his mind up that he wants to go, I don't know if 50 million, like, is the 50 million quid gonna what you're gonna get for 50? Not much.
I can tell you, it doesn't even get you Richarlison. It says he's 60 million.
Well, exactly, 100%, right? So it doesn't get you a Richarlison, and what a ridiculous signing that was. And you have to then think, well, if you are going to keep him, because 50 million is not enough, is he going to be able to contribute enough to make up 50 million quid by getting us into the top 4 or something next year? But for me, I think if he wants to leave and he makes that abundantly clear, and someone comes in for 80 million, I think you probably take it. Yeah.
What about you then, Dave? So are you you said Sean said you got a totally different approach.
Yeah, because I'm Harry Kane's number one fan. Me and Harry Kane have a bit of a bromance going on. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but we love each other. But look, when it comes to Harry Kane, first of all, let's put this out there: he's the best player in the Premier League as we speak.
Wait, what? Hey, Marcus Rashford says hello.
Come on.
I admit respect, like Davey, look. You said 2 weeks ago, that Spurs were in a title race, right? And now you're saying Harry Kane's the best player currently. What, on form or overall? Let's get some context.
All around game, best player in the Premier League.
All around game, best player in the Premier League. I thought you meant on form. All right, you know what? I'll probably give you that one then.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think yourself a grave at Rashford. It's not worth the hill worth dying on.
I'm bury some more goals against you.
Player
wait, Guni, why are you laughing? You're 10th.
Listen, we'll be back. Don't worry about us. We'll be back.
Yeah, Terminator settings, yeah?
Yeah, straight up.
when it comes to Harry Kane, he's got a year left on his contract come the summer. It's kind of like if he doesn't sign, you can't let the guy go for free. You've got to take some cash from him. So I reckon if someone comes in with 100 million, I think he's gone personally. I think you have to accept that. You've got to do a bit like what Liverpool done with Coutinho. Take the money, reinvest that, and move forward. But here's the problem. We do not have a good track record of buying strikers at Tottenham Hotspur. We have a dismal track record for some time. We've pissed about on Darren Bent, Soldado. These are all record signings down the years. Vincent Janssen.
Rebrov. Yeah.
Rebrov, you know what I mean?
Pavlyuchenko.
Hey, put some respect on Pavlyuchenko.
Raziak.
Super Pav.
Yeah.
We're not good at buying strikers, so I do not trust this club to be able to replace someone like Harry Kane. And when you sell Harry Kane, you've got to sign a few players out of that money to give you back what he gives you, because right now he's our creative force. He's the only one that sort of can get on the ball, ping passes left, right, over the top, etc. But then also he's your finisher. He also contributes with goals outside the box, hold up play. So you're going to have to sign at least 2 or 3 players, a cam, probably 2 strikers in effect to do what Harry Kane does. So it's not ideal. But also with that, you've got Sonny not in so great form. So you're probably looking at finding someone else out there to strike up a partnership with what you're bringing in. Look, for me, I would rather keep Harry Kane at all costs. I think it's best for Tottenham. But saying that, now that he's broke Jimmy Greaves' goal record for Tottenham Hotspur, last few games he hasn't been great, and I'm struggling to see what sort of his next motivation is at Tottenham, where what he wants to do next. There's
a nice number 9 spot waiting, maybe potentially at Man United, which might be the icing on the cake.
Look, that's personally when you look at the Premier League, you look at City, they've got Haaland, ain't going there. We're never going to sell to Chelsea, so that's not going to happen. Never going to sell to Arsenal. That's not going to happen. Liverpool have Darwin Núñez and Cody Gakpo, so United is probably...
Correction. But why would he go to Manchester United? If you're going to leave your boyhood club, you need to know you're going to be guaranteed to win a trophy. I don't think Old Trafford is a place where you're guaranteed
right now, I think we're more guaranteed to win a trophy next season, especially with new owners, whoever it may be. Well, not Jim Ratcliffe, please. More than Tottenham. I think more than Chelsea. Actually, I think more than... Right now, is the only team I could say that will probably win a trophy over us before anything for next season is maybe Arsenal, and you can never write off City, right, unless they get relegated. So, and even anybody...
It's not guarantee. There's no guarantee, is there? If he wants to leave to go and guarantee...
Yeah, but you got to figure the team that's been building in terms of the project and where the project is. You go play with Rashford, you could go play with Bruno, Casemiro, Varane. How can you not want to play with a team like that? That's just a few players but at this current moment of time. And
I'm just saying because the loyalty to Tottenham is going to be compelling. And I think that he's not going to go to Arsenal, like Dave said. He's definitely not going to go to Chelsea. I don't think Newcastle...
We're not your rivals. We're way above you.
No,
Are you sure you don't want to offend rivalry like Chelsea have done, though?
Huh?
You are a rival. You're not. It's not a bitter rival, but you are a rival.
I beg to differ, but if it makes you sleep at night, Sean.
All I'm saying is that if he leaves Tottenham, I think it's to win a trophy, and I think that I don't think he gets a spot anywhere in the Premier League where there's a guarantee of a trophy. And I don't think he wants to leave. Imagine if he went.
There's no such thing as a guaranteed trophy, though. If we're
there is. If you go to Bayern Munich, there's a guarantee.
Oh, they might not even win it this year, though, or win anything.
And they will.
They'll win something. Over the next 3 years, they would win some trophies. If that's what's the most important thing to him, I think that he might go abroad.
Yeah, but
I'd hate it if he went to Manchester United. Maybe I'm talking with my heart over my head.
It's because you're talking to me. It's because of me, innit? It is because of me. Basically, I have to start putting a little bit more respect. I don't know how, but I think it was my little sister. But she decided to send a rival show, Rival Not Virals, to my granddad, who's a Spurs supporter, right? And yeah, I got an earful. What a chump. Oh shit. No, you're not. Alhambra says, Cass, I'm keeping these receipts for when Boychester divided crash. We'll be back. You'll be flambéed, poached, and sauteed in the future. Much love. And I'm pretty sure he's a Chelsea fan. There's a reason why you've got a skeleton in a Chelsea fan with the hands on the head. Kind of looks like Monts yesterday or the other day, shall I be honest. Liverpool. Big up Monts, by the way. If you haven't, guys...
Like MasterChef right now instead of football talk.
Yeah, maybe. 12 likes away from 150. Guys, if you are here, make sure you subscribed and make sure you like the video. It literally takes 2 seconds. I'm not even joking. Not even that. 0.7 seconds we timed it. It takes to look at a like underneath your phone, the thumb button. It's very important, so I appreciate everyone that has done so at the moment. And also check out every guy's channel on this show currently. You can see it here in the title or the description below. Guni is, I think you're over near 16k now. As well, Younes, as I said, but come on, man, save some for us. Sean, way over 6k, and Davey on the way to 10k, if I'm not wrong. So big up everyone that's here. So yeah, let me move on a little bit with the whole, Chelsea, Younes. What else does Chelsea need? Okay, we could all, the money is gonna be always the thing, right? You need to spend over $500 million in 6 months, half a year, right? What else does Chelsea need for this team to really be something? Because I guarantee, the way I look at it, if a manager that's suited and booted comes into this team, he can make the most out of this team. Why I'm gonna reference back to Ten Hag is because yes, he spent 230 million, I think, or 220 million, but he done with the most what he's got at the moment. He tweaked a little few things. If things don't work, you tweak it, you get the most out of your situation. And look at Rashford's revival, Wan-Bissaka's revival, even though he could be a purple patch for all you know. And so there's many examples.
Yeah, no, completely. And there's been, I would say, even at some points, acceptable excuses. If you're looking at the amount of injuries we had at a certain time, before actually going in the January window and pulling off, I think, what was the best January window anyone could possibly ask for.
Yeah.
Before that, right, I could understand if there were limitations. But now there's everyone coming back. The only one that's left now is N'Golo Kante. Pulisic as well, but he's already training, it seems. So he's going to be available soon. Kante's on his way back. After that, that's it. Everyone's back, and we've made new signings. So as you've said, it's a case of the manager's got to be able to work with what he has, and he's been given tools now. I'm certain this is why I refuse to believe that these footballers at Chelsea, right, a significant amount of them, are this bad. It doesn't make sense. I'm quite certain you get an elite manager in, and he turns this team into a winning team.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Guni, I think you've even said something along these lines of recent as well, man. Obviously, you was so gassed for January. Younes, you ain't gonna escape. I do remember you putting on the shades and everything.
100%.
If anything, Guni kept it humble, except for one man, Enzo Fernandez, and that's it. And Guni kept it kind of humble to a tip, man. You got Lewis splashing the cash on live. You got you coming with the shade. You got obviously Matisse, big up Matisse. So yeah, man, Guni, man, what do you think is needed as well on top of whatever you've got at the moment?
Well, at number 6, 2 windows we've missed. Not signing that number 6 has hurt us yet again.
Do you think? All right, quick one. Let me interject. Do you think the number 6 is pretty much the most pivotal, most important player on the pitch for any system?
In the Premier League right now, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll go as far as to say, if we dropped a Romeo Lavia in this midfield, our actual target, you see a difference. You see a change in that midfield, because now you're talking Romeo next to Enzo, and then Felix at the top of that. Do you know what I mean? So that's a good 3. Or even if you want to switch it up, you can have Lavia at the base of the midfield, Enzo and another midfielder next to him. So tactically, it opens you up to so many different systems as well.
Yeah, I know what I mean? Bellingham, I'm hearing lately.
Well, you can never write off Chelsea when you're linked to players, but as of now, bruv, I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to see a number 6 come in before anybody now.
Of course,
we waited long enough.
Oh, fair enough, man. And I think the last segment for the show as well, obviously the last 5 to 10 minutes, is you two obviously face off on the weekend. It's about how does one win over the other. I'm going to come to you first, Sean, as well. How do you think you can beat Chelsea? Because Chelsea's defense isn't bad whatsoever. You can go see their record for themselves. They keep clean sheets. Badiashile, how he's not even in the Champions League squad is beyond me. But he's an immense talent. But lately, of course, I think Davey said it, you do score goals. And I got a credit. I was bantering you lot for when you had Papa Sarr and Skip in the middle, just for it to look like it's your best midfield going this season. Obviously, minus Bentancur.
Yeah.
I've been raving about Ollie Skip for a long time, by the way.
Ollie Skip flew under the radar in Milan. I was saying everyone was raving about Pepe Sarr, rightly so. Sarr looked excellent, but Ollie Skip did a brilliant job as well, and then stepped in for the next game and doubled down on his performance. He's young, and I hope his injury's behind him, because he had a mad injury last year that kind of set him back in his game. But I think he's got a really bright future. But look, the answer to how we beat Chelsea is the same every time with Tottenham. It's about execution of the opportunities we get. It sounds obvious to say it, right? But you know, if we tuck in and sit back and let you guys have the ball, and then we make a silly little mistake from Fraser Foster not being able to get down. Or
well, I call him Fraser foreplay because like he just takes too long in that segment. Like just sometimes just get into, you know what I mean? Just like go, don't take too long, go for it.
If Chelsea pop shots from outside the area, low into the corner, I think that Chelsea could have a lot of success because he's like an oak tree getting down. He's such a giant human being.
Stadium. King Power.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I think that Tottenham needs to obviously be clinical at the top. When we do get chances, you need to take them because we're not going to get that many, I don't think. And we need to be able to rely on our defenders to tuck in and to not make any silly mistakes. If we do that and sit in well and don't make those individual mistakes, but execute the game plan effectively, then I think we're a match for most teams if we do it correctly. But the problem is that there's always a silly mistake that is waiting to happen. And I think the game plan will be exactly the same for Chelsea as it was for most of the other, the traditional top 6 teams that come our way. Let you guys have the ball and pass it around the back, and then try and suck you out, and then try and pop you over the top.
Ooh,
and let's see if
yeah. Go on, continue.
See if Sonny can execute something. And of course, Harry Kane. The problem for me is, whether or not if the Chelsea centre backs, one of the templates that's emerged recently of how to handle Harry Kane is, if you get a bit of luck, or if we don't get the luck from the referee, and Harry Kane, when the long balls are pumped up to him from Foster or from Romero or Dyer, if he can't control the ball well, Tottenham's entire forward plan, that is when we're building up the play rather than breaking, all of that falls apart. So we need Harry Kane to have one of his best days, and we need your centre backs to not bully him and get away with it, basically. And if we can do that, we've always got a chance with the talent we've got up top.
Do you agree, Dave?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to appeal for some fairness from a referee this weekend. We're constantly getting absolutely rolled by refereeing decisions. I mean, that penalty last weekend was an absolute farce. So I just want fairness this weekend. But knowing Todd Bowley's probably, paid him off already, giving him an 8 years worth of payment or something like that. But when it comes to this game, it's going to be a tactical battle. It's going to be a tight game. Both teams sort of play similar formations, so there's not going to be too much space. I think if our wing-backs can get the better of the Chelsea wing-backs, I think that's where the game will probably be won or lost, in my opinion. I think the midfield will probably be a bit scrappy in there with the likes of Enzo Fernandez. We'll probably go at Højbjerg. I'd say he'll probably roll out Skip again. It's going to be very scrappy. I actually think this game just comes down to who wants it more and who wins their individual battles, a bit like the West Ham game. We wanted it a bit more. We won our individual battles, and then they ended up just sort of relinquishing, being bent over and spanked by us and blowing bubbles back at them, which they did not like. But look, it does. In terms of our danger man, in terms of going forward, everything hinges on Harry Kane. If he's not playing well, we tend to not really create chances. We tend not to rip open the opposition. So if Chelsea double team Harry Kane, we've got a problem because we've seen with Son this season, he can't drop deep and get involved with the play because his back is always
would you start him on the bench again?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Controversial, I think, for the first half. I don't like this whole talk about dropping Sonny to the bench because, he's been an absolute unbelievable servant. But I think one thing that sort of went under the radar against West Ham is in the first half, although Richarlison didn't play well, he absolutely chased everything. And more often than not, the ball went straight back to Fabianski. He went route one. We won the header, turned it over, went back at West Ham again. So I would actually, for the first half, I would go with someone like Richarlison, get him to do all the running, get him to chase things down, put teams under pressure. And then in the second half, when Chelsea's starting to tire, bring Sonny on. Because the problem with Son is everything's coming into Harry Kane. Last season, Harry Kane was left free. He was getting turned. He was playing something behind. Son was getting his goals. This season, teams are double teaming Kane, taking him out of the game, which then means Son's getting frustrated. He's having to drop deeper to get on the ball, but he's doing it with his back to goal. Yeah. And it's absolutely killing him. Son is most dangerous when he's got space up in and around the opposition third, facing the goal or running at goal. So I think we'll probably have to bring him on in the second half when the game opens up a little. And I'm not saying to continue to do this permanently, but right now, while we've got our issues, you've got to do what's best for the team. And if that means bringing in someone like Richarlison to hold it up or someone like Richarlison to go and chase the ball down because Son doesn't really do much of that work, so be it. You've got to do it. But Yeah, look, what I will say is I'll warn Chelsea fans, even Cucurella, tie your hair up this time. We know Romero still has half of Cucurella's hair in his pocket from the last game. So you've been warned. Tie your hair up if you got long hair and you come into the game.
I got a question from D1 for one of you, Younes or Guni. Is Kante back, by the way?
No, not yet. No,
He's not back at the.
he's back in training. He's back warming up on grass. So he probably maybe another couple of weeks.
Yeah. So I'm gonna reverse the question back to you, Younes, Guni, whoever wants to go first. How do you beat Tottenham this time around? Because one thing I have noticed about Chelsea is the first half an hour is good. It typically is good. You see patterns of play. You do see patterns of play. Don't deny it. And you see what you want to do, but then everything just drops off after that. You look a bit lackluster, and then things have become a little bit too predictable.
Do you want to go first or
anyone?
First half against Southampton was the worst football I've seen from Chelsea, to be fair.
Oh, so
but
that's different. I didn't watch that personally.
We do have to start off strong. We're gonna have to try and press them intensely out of the game, like we did when we played them at home. Do you know what I mean? The press is gonna have to be on point. And we're gonna have to find our shooting boots, because we will create chances, but it's just putting the opportunities in the back of the net. But for me, more so to the point, is because I like to look at previous games to give me sort of an indication as to how I feel for this game going in, as everybody does. And I can't reach for nothing outside of vibes. And what I mean by that is I just hope this team know how much it means to the fans to beat Tottenham.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I've got no tactical confidence. I've got no actual confidence on the pitch from the players, from what I've been shown. So there's not much I can really give you except for them things. This is the sad state that we're in.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What, Younes, you're in the same boat?
Yeah, no, it's basically the same. There's nothing really tactical or anything about going into this, because we lack energy, urgency, intensity. We lack those things. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of control in terms of trying to actually correct that. It's just kind of a waiting game and just hoping that something's going to show up, and that's not the case. With the result against Southampton, the confidence is really low. So going into this, it's genuinely, I'm worried, because I know that the confidence is low going into a game like Tottenham away. Spurs are going to be up for it. They just are going to be up for it. And I don't see how we're going to motivate ourselves to be up for it, even though realistically they should. But this is the thing, going from Southampton and a loss at home to Southampton in their circumstances, what you hear after the game and what you hear in terms of the training. I mean, this week we've had 2 days off, and today there was no full training. So you're thinking, how is this? How are we preparing for this game? Are we trying to go down the route of trying to relax everyone and trying to get everyone to just calm down?
That's what it looks like.
It's what it looks like, but can work, or can it backfire? Because if you're too relaxed, well, you're not really going to bring any urgency, which is actually what we need. So at the moment, I share the sentiment of Guni in terms of where is it going to come from. I genuinely think there is going to be parts in the game where chances will come, but we can't hit a barn door right now. So it does depend whether we're going to take that chance. But at the same time, it's about being able to show energy when you press. We don't press aggressively enough. Sometimes we don't even press whatsoever. Being able to vibes. Literally, or being able to close down in time, being able to tighten those spaces. When you have to close down a Harry Kane and what they're going to be attacking with, the way they're going to set up. They are going to try and launch counter attacks at you, and if we do leave a bit of space, you're going to get punished. So. Yeah, it's about whether we really care about it. It's going to come down to that. Do you really care about it? And show it for 90 minutes. Don't stop, because we tend to stop.
I personally need you lot to win. I need it, or draw, please. But
we need it too.
Why?
Why
do you need it? Are you worried about Tottenham coming back into?
No, because it's not the point. It's not the point. I just feel like because they're so far down, Chelsea. I think they just charity. Yeah,
it's a real weak argument, mate. It sounds to me like deep down you're a little bit concerned about.
I'm not concerned. It's just that if I
ruffle some feathers,
it sounds like he's watched my video, Sean, and he's worried.
It's just I just want to widen the gap as much as possible, especially when now that we've got a cup final to play on Sunday. You know, do you guys know? Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna come down to now is the all right 11s and predictions. So what kind of I think the back four picks itself easily for Chelsea, and I think you guys as well. Back 3-4. So I'm gonna skip that. Midfield and attack starting with Guni. What would you go for?
Midfield and attack. What my players who I'd put in position.
Who's your midfield this on Sunday? Is it on? Is on Saturday or Sunday? Saturday, I think it is now. Isn't it?
Sunday kickoff. Yeah.
It's on Sunday.
And Enzo, Zakaria, and João Felix.
Zakaria's back.
Yeah.
That's a big plus.
He's been back for 3 weeks, bro.
Has he not played?
He's been available for the last 3 games.
That's mental. That's mental. That's a mental case. Cool. That's your
Goes to
midfield.
show.
Well, and your attack pretty much. Who would you go for then?
I'd give Mudryk another go.
Yeah.
If Chilwell's playing. I know that's not my area, sorry. On that right side, I'd go with Madueke as well. And up top, I'd actually go with Aubameyang. Not because I like the player, but he's out of all of the strikers or finishers I've got at the club, he's the one that I trust the most to put the ball in the back of the net.
Damn. So you got Enzo, Felix, Zakaria, yeah?
Yep.
I like that.
Ex-Arsenal as well, right? He'd probably
I
love
like
to score
that.
against them.
Yeah.
And what's your prediction?
Listen, I never predict a loss for Chelsea, although I'm not optimistic. So I'm going to say 1-1. I think we score first and Tottenham get a goal in like the 91st minute or something.
All right, cool. I'm gonna switch it to Sean. What's your midfield and above?
Yeah. I've never heard two sets of fans so pessimistic about their own team's chances in the game.
It's mad, isn't it?
I'm going to go for the midfield. I think that they'll keep it as it was: Højbjerg and Skippy, and then the front three, obviously Harry Kane and Decky and
Danjuma.
Look, I don't know. Be a tough kind of Premier League home debut to come in against Chelsea. But look, Rishi was absolutely woeful. And Sonny works from the bench, but doesn't work from when he starts this season. So I don't know. I think that you probably, just because I think of the shithousery side of things, I think you probably keep with Richarlison in there. So yeah, I'd go Skippy, Højbjerg, Richarlison on the left, Decky on the right, and Kane up front. And I'm going to say equally, I can't predict a loss, but I don't think I'm confident enough to say a win. I'll say 2-2.
Oh shit! Against Chelsea. Oh, you know what? All right, cool. Younes.
I agree with Guni. The only thing is, I would understand why maybe Mudryk would start from the bench and Sterling would start on the left. But apart from that, no, I wouldn't mind starting Mudryk, and I'd agree with everything he said. Aubameyang, if Aubameyang is not selected on Sunday, right, then there's a big problem, because even though we know
back as well, isn't he?
Huh?
Your American striker's back as well, right? Pulisic is back, isn't he?
I don't want to see him.
I don't. Judging on how we normally treat injured players, I don't think he'll make it for Sunday. I'll be surprised, but he might be on the bench. But yeah, Aubameyang needs to play, considering the circumstances in terms of our strikers. And right now, we need to give him a chance to play with these new players. He's not done it yet, so who knows? You might find a connection. You might find something that works. Felix and Enzo and Mudryk, Madueke and all of that with Aubameyang.
Very balanced midfield.
Give it a chance.
There, Guni, I think very, very balanced.
It's the most balanced that we have available at the moment.
Exactly.
I mean, you got Gallagher.
Kante's not back, is he? He's not. Is he still fit, or is he?
He's not back.
Kante is not. He's not going to be back. He should be in contention around the end of March, apparently.
What's your prediction, Younes?
I'm like Guni, man. I don't want to say we'll lose, but flipping hell. No, you know what? The one game on the calendar I don't want to say we lose is Spurs. Like, but I have to be real. I would, not that I would take it. I'm gonna go 1-1 as well.
Okay. And
I'm gonna go 1-1.
So bad at Chelsea,
but deep down, I'll say I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs pick up 3 points. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Before I go to Davey, quick one. Alhambra says here, so happy that Romero is back to test Cucurella shampoo and conditioner routine. This guy's always on smoke, man. I can't lie, all the time. Davey, so prediction, what would you be your lineup? I think you said you like Richarlison up there anyway, so or
Yeah,
Sonny.
I'll be honest. It's the same as Sean. Højbjerg skipping midfield in the front three are the same. Kane, Kulu, and Richie. Look, these flower enthusiasts. They always show up against us. Always, and they know what I'm talking about. The Chelsea Flower Show. They know exactly what I'm talking about. They'd probably rather be there this year. But look.
Depends what type of flour you're talking about. Can I put it in a Rizzler?
You get a good enough grinder, you can put anything in a Rizzler, my man. But look, they always show up against us. One player I'm fearful of is Raheem Sterling, even if he doesn't start coming off the bench. With Liverpool, with City, always scores against us, always. But unlike these guys below me, I actually predict a win. I think we're going to win. We've got a bit of confidence off the West Ham game. No midweek games for the players to be refreshed. When I looked at Chelsea against Southampton, there's not a lot of running off or on the ball with Chelsea at the minute. It's like some of them players don't want to go the extra yards. No one making them runs to support players. And I think with Tottenham, we do have a physical team. Emerson is physical. You've got Højbjerg, Skip, Kane, Richie, Kulu, all sort of physical guys. So I think if they don't make them runners, we can catch them on the ball and spring counters. And I'm going to go 2-1 Tottenham because, look, we're not our creative best right now. We probably won't get going until the second half. But I think we should have enough to beat Chelsea this weekend and sack them. But you know what? I just want to say one thing quickly. I mean, it's not even a rivalry. These guys' rivalry is Fulham. I don't know why they care about Tottenham so much. You know,
God.
you get that
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Listen, we're on like a 1 season sabbatical.
Well, yeah, we're on holiday.
Yeah, listen, we've got enough credit in the bank. Yeah, we've got enough credit in the bank to just sit down, enjoy our cigars, and just have a few drinks.
We're giving you time to make a cup final for once.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. We'll be back. Next
the
season
path is clear. Go for it.
Next season is when you see the real Chelsea. Right now, we're just on vacation, bro.
Will we get a new chant?
Nah, that stays the same. Are you mad, bro? That's the most original chant in football history, bro. Come on. There you go.
Chelsea.
It does everything it needs to do. Yeah, addresses the team. Yeah, it's passionate. Yeah, you can hear it loud and clear. Right? What more do you need?
No one's gonna forget it. It's not over.
Yeah, no, it's unforgettable. Yeah, truly unforgettable, bro. There you go.
Yeah. Alhambra here says again, when another super chat says we will bury you with those flowers on Sunday. Just like, actually, I'm not gonna say that. I might get hunted down. Anyways. My prediction is going to be so Spurs won, then they lost, then they won. I'm gonna go for Chelsea need a do something. That's the only reason. I was gonna go 2-1 Tottenham, but I think I'm gonna go 2-1 Spurs. Oh no, 2-1 Chelsea. I think just because. You know what? I can't. I think they just do something. They do something.
One question: Who scores?
So sorry, guys. I've got to jump. Something's happened. I've got to jump.
Sweet, yeah, go on. Back to finish, anyways.
Okay, man.
Who scores? I think Felix. I think Felix gets a goal, and I'm gonna say, I think he's been getting a lot of stick. Well, I'm gonna go Mudryk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Soros shagged Felix's wife, didn't he? So Felix is going to be well up for it.
If your lineup isn't there that I see on Sunday that you mentioned with that midfield, then I'm gonna if it's not that midfield and any other midfield, I'm sticking it straight to Spurs 2-1. They get the early goal.
I don't blame you either. I do not blame you even the
slightest. So that's I've never actually done that kind of flip. So if it isn't that, because you convinced me, I'm not joking. You lot convinced me on that midfield massively. But thank you for everyone joining. Everyone go check the Irish Hotspur as well. Mr. Davey, if you enjoyed his personality. Sean as well with his fruitful personality. Younes, as always, stunting on all of us all the time. And then obviously Guni. Man knows football over there, loud and proud in America currently, doing his thing, you know what I'm saying? But pleasure for you guys jumping on. Has anyone else got anything else to say?
Yeah, bit of extra added spice. Porro shagged Felix's wife before, so if Porro ends up playing, there's going to be a bit of spice there.
This is not true news. This has been debunked.
And also, just to any Spurs fans out there, I don't know if you've seen the clip this week of the Chelsea fans having a meltdown. Be careful of the Thai restaurant around Stamford Bridge. Apparently, Just be merry.
If anyone's there, please get it on camera. Please,
And then we'll be back tomorrow with the Man United Newcastle preview at 7:30. Myself, Ty, Kendall, and Jack Charlton, a big Newcastle TikToker. So there we go. And I suppose we'll see you there in a bit.